y'all, it's Southern Sleuth again, and it's time for another Nancy Drew analysis. Which breed of dog would each Nancy Drew video game character have? This is video 2 of I don't know how many yet, so if you haven't already watched video number 1 about the series, go back and take a look for some further context. It's the one about main Nancy Drew characters, and I'll link it in the comments. So as I said in that previous video, I'm spinning a wheel to pick the next game. The wheel this time picked, drumroll please, Sea of Darkness. It's time to go to Iceland, y'all. Please note that this video will contain spoilers just due to the nature of these characters' roles, so if you have not completed Sea of Darkness, I do recommend skipping this video and waiting for the next video. You can just go back and watch the first video twice. Alright, leave this video in 3, 2, 1. Let's get sleeping, y'all. Similar to how easily Carson's Drew dog came to me in video number 1, the Sea of Darkness characters also seem to be pretty easy to decide. These dog breeds are definitely less common though, so they did take a little bit more research, but once I found them, it was an easy decision. My first character for Sea of Darkness is Dagny Silva. As the first character we meet, it felt fitting to start off with her. We learn very quickly she's fairly aloof and a bit of a loner. She is a known treasure hunter and travels all over. In order for her to manage owning a dog, she would need one that could manage in a few different climates, as well as adapt to various new locations and new adventures regularly. So for Dagny, a Nova Scotia duck tolling retriever, yes it is a long name, was my final choice after a decent amount of research. I wanted to give her a retriever because of her occupation as a treasure hunter, but I had already used up a few of the retrievers in my previous video. The duck-tolling retriever is also smaller than most retrievers, which I assumed would make it a little bit easier to travel with, possibly. They are intelligent dogs with boundless energy for fetching, making them ideal for treasure hunters if they have good training. With Dagny's loner personality, she needs a companion who will be nothing but loyal to her to help restore that faith in relationships with others. The tolling retriever ranks high in loyalty and is even a good family dog, which means if Dagny ever decides to find love again, her dog should be able to adapt pretty quickly to a new person. And perhaps even having a dog would convince her to chill out a little and, smell the flowers. Next up for this game, I have Gunnar Tonneson. If you've ever watched any of Susie Should Be Sleeping's videos where we play Fight, Marry, Kiss, you'll know that I have a bit of a soft spot for Gunnar and, well, pretty much any of the tough silent types. He's probably my favorite character in C. He deserves a good companion that will help distract from all of his heartbreak. He claims to hate the sea now, but a good companion might just help him find some of that joy again. So for Gunnar, I chose a dog right from his homelands, the Icelandic sheepdog. The Icelandic sheepdog is thought to be the only native dog to Iceland. It was started by dogs that the Vikings brought back over and then bred into what we now know as the Icelandic sheepdog today. As Gunnar is very proud of his Iceland, he may very well hold out for a dog breed that represents this love. They are very eager dogs to please. This breed of dog is very eager to please its master and would likely be able to put up with Gunnar's less appealing personality traits. Just as Gunnar tends to get loud, the Icelandic sheepdog is known for its barking. The sheepdog also hates to be alone and might be a really good solution for an unfixable situation. We know that Gunnar is truly struggling being alone right now. They can both howl along to their favorite sea shanties, unless Elizabeth kicks them out again. Soren Bergeson is up next, and this boy could definitely use a friend. A dog who'd be happy to hang out behind the counter or even greeting people throughout the cultural center would be an incredible bonus for Soren. Perhaps it would even make him a few human friends if he had a sweet dog ready to greet everyone. One of Soren's biggest issues in Sea of Darkness is that he's seen as an outsider due to being born just a few miles outside of town. So, kind of tongue-in-cheek, for Soren I chose the Norwegian Elkhound because Norway is close to Iceland but isn't quite Iceland. Just like he was born close to town but not in town. The Elkhound is also a very independent dog and tends to go off and do what it wants, and really honestly can be fairly difficult to train. If left alone, they tend to be very destructive and will definitely get into things they shouldn't be sticking their nose in. They require a lot of positive reinforcement and encouragement to be well behaved. This reminds me of Soren due to his bitterness from being left out of all the reindeer games. One can only hope that a dog would take away some of that bitterness that Soren is holding on to, and perhaps it would, give him a little bit better of a happy ending. And finally, our last one for this video, we have Magnus and Elizabeth. I'm not even going to attempt their surnames. I know Elizabeth means she's the daughter of, but I don't want to butcher them. So I have the two put together for fairly obvious reasons. While they could each easily have their own dog breeds, there was something really sweet about putting the two of them together. If you haven't noticed, the Nancy Drew games don't really have very many relationships in them. I don't mind that, as I would rather focus on the mysteries, but I can also take special care for the relationships that we do have. As you know, if you've played the game, Magnus already has a dog that Elizabeth takes care of in his absence, Toomey. And Toomey is, if I'm not mistaken, our classic black and white border collie. Collies are working dogs and need to do something to feel fulfilled. Magnus wanted to find the treasure to be fulfilled. Toomey and Magnus are very likely very goal-oriented and relate to one another in that way. Border collies can also be very stubborn, which we see with Elizabeth guarding the ship so unrelentingly. And all three of them clearly have a lot of loyalty and love for each other, even though we've all seen them have their issues. Border collies are really good family dogs, and ultimately, we get to see this family go off together and continue their adventures as a group. Who doesn't want to take off sailing with their adorable doggie? And, well, once again, this video is coming to a close. Now, I have kept my word and continued this series. If this is the first one you've seen, please go back and watch video number 1, and look forward to the wheel being spun again for video number 3. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking it and giving me a follow. You can also find me on Instagram under the same name. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments about what other breeds these characters might go with. If you have another character that you feel strongly about, put that in the comments as well, or message me on Instagram under the same name. All suggestions that I use will get referenced in the description of each video. Thanks for sleuthing, y'all!